Success ain't earned, it's bought. That's why at Paddy Power, we paid the big bucks for the best tech nerds in the world to develop our new, fastest ever app. Download the new app from the App Store or Play Store now. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Light the candle, Tiger!
Hi there, a warm welcome along to the Racing Post Golf Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined as ever by Steve Palmer and Paddy Powers in McLaughlin to look ahead to this week's two tournaments. We've got the Abu Dhabi Championship and the Desert Classic over in America. So hopefully the lads have got some winners. Let's look back to last week though, the second of the two curtain-raising tournaments in Hawaii, which Matt Kuchar won with ease in the end, Steve. No good to you, was it?
No. Charles Howell getting in the top five was my only hope for Sunday, and it was looking good for a long way. Actually looked like he had a crack at the title at one stage. I don't know whether you stayed up all night watching it.
I certainly didn't.
He had an very short eagle putt on the ninth hole, which would have brought him within two shots. So I was actually having designs on outright victory at that point, but he missed that and then sort of trod water on the back nine. Finished eighth.
Typical Charles Howell, mate. Get a whiff of victory and then bottle it.
You're a very harsh man. I mean, the each way punters with Paddy Power, they got a share of the eighth place, and top 10 was our bet of the week. So not all bad, but another brutal through the night experience.
Oh dear! And Paddy Power won, I guess, did they, Ian?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad week for us in the end with Kuchar getting it done.
Would you rather Putnam had won?
I think it was even spread across. I think Putnam was popular once he took the lead on Thursday, and that kind of evened out the book. So it was kind of almost an equal result between him and Kuchar.
Okay,
did you
well
stay up
done.
all night for 4 nights running, Ian? Did you do the full shifts?
Friday, Saturday I was up, and then I was off Sunday, so I went to bed quite early Sunday. I was like, I had enough of this. I don't want to watch Matt Kuchar against Andrew Putnam into the wee hours of the morning.
What time did you finish up, Steve?
Well, I went to bed at 8 p.m. on Sunday night, set the alarm for 11 p.m, so I got up to watch the golf, then went back to bed at 3:30 a.m, and then was woken up by my daughter at 5:30 a.m. So I feel like I've been at war with Nazi Germany. I feel like I'm in the trenches, just sort of picking my battles and.
Am I right in thinking you're topless at the moment?
Yeah, I'm topless.
Why?
We just had some serious technical problems that were
Doesn't mean you have to take your top off.
I've sweated right up because nothing gets me going more than a technical issue. We've been fannying around, haven't we, for 15 minutes trying to get this done.
Now they don't want to know about that.
I'm dripping in sweat.
Oh my goodness! Before we look at the tournaments, we've got some we've got some listeners' questions rather. So I'll fire some off at you, chaps. We've got loads this week. Very good response. Adam says, Steve, which 4 sportsmen and women would you invite to a dinner party?
What an interesting question. Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Michael Van Gerwen.
Yeah.
Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah.
And Anna Kournikova.
Excellent. For all obvious reasons, yeah?
Obvious reasons. We'd have an awful lot of fun.
I should think you would. That's a brilliant dinner party. Ian Henry says, I know Cameron Champ's obviously a favourite of the postcast, isn't he? The old greyhound. But Henry says, I know Cam Champ hits it a mile, but his only win was against a depleted field, and he was only 6th in the Web.com tour. Is the hype a little bit much?
I'd have to disagree with that massively. Depleted field, yes, but he's still only a young kid, and the hype, he's living up to the hype. The hype started at the start of the year, started this PGA Tour season. He won the Sanderson Farms. It's only going to help it. I'm looking through the schedule right now, and so far this season he hasn't come to one course that will suit his game. Next week, he's not playing this week obviously. Next week he's playing the Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines South. Usually in January in California you can get a soft and long Torrey Pines. I think Champ, if he's in the field, he'll really excel there, and he might be an early tip for next week.
Excellent. Right, okay. Brian says, Steve, how many accounts do you have in order to get the maximum value from your golf bets?
Well, about 15 or so accounts, but lots of them have become redundant now for various reasons.
I think one reason you're winning too much of them.
yeah, there's not many bookies left who want to play a proper game of ball, so to speak.
Dear. So it's getting harder and harder, yeah?
It's getting harder and harder, but you should have as many as you can on the go.
Sure, absolutely. Ian, Danny says, thoughts on Willett and Rose playing in the US rather than the flagship Euro event this week? What do you make of that?
Yeah, I was surprised at that, especially Willett, considering he had just won in Dubai and he was coming to a part like he's a Dubai Desert Classic champion. Maybe I think 3 years ago before he won the Masters. Obviously won the DP World Championship in Dubai. So I'm surprised to see him in California. Rose, not so much. He last couple of years he hasn't really gone to Europe to really play the Players Trade. He's more of a PGA Tour heavy player now, so very surprised at Willett, not so much in Justin Rose.
Okay, Steve, Super Hoop says, how much did you win last year?
I won about 175 bags.
Did you?
Yeah, 175 bags. But obviously, I haven't got all that left. I bought a car and had a couple of very pleasant holidays, and I've actually, as is well documented, I've actually turned some attention to the mortgage now. So I haven't got all that. But yeah, 175 bags last year.
Well done, mate. That's fantastic. God, I didn't realise it was that much. I'm very pleased for you, mate.
Thank you.
Ian, Jimmy says, could the chaps remind us what those golf stats sites were that we mentioned on the Postcast recently?
Yeah, I won't speak for Steve and myself. Data Golf is a great one. Datagolf.ca it's called. And the one I mentioned a couple of weeks ago was the Hunt Golf Analytics Pro Synopsis from last year. It's basically like a thesis, data-driven golf from the last year in the PGA Tour.
What's it called again?
It's Hunt Golf Analytics on Twitter, and it's the Pro Golf Synopsis. So it's like a 150-page book on tournaments, on players, on where their stats are trending, stuff like that. It's an excellent read. I'm about 30 pages through it so far, and it's really, really helpful to see players who are trending in the right direction, what courses they'll be suited to, etc. So I think it's $10 to buy through a link on his Twitter page.
Tell us one thing you've learnt from reading it so far.
Oh, it's become repetitive, but just the trend on Cameron Champ is skyrocketing. He
Really?
goes
He's going to be a star,
straight
is he?
to the very top. Yeah, he was just saying a brief point, and it was his overall driving is the best he's seen since Tiger Woods came onto the tour. So that's one little snippet of it. Like so.
Okay.
Well, that's it. You don't have to listen to us. We're not. Don't listen to us. We're nobody. But there's nobody that's caused such a stir on the circuit as Cameron Champ in the last few years. Other players are stopping to watch him hit the ball on the driving range, like Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson. They all want to have a little peek at this lad who can take the game to the next level. Like his club head speed is different. It's faster than anything we've seen before. He hits it further, and he's got a good putting stroke as well. So I think the reader there, he perhaps been a bit harsh because he's only 23 years of age, Cameron Champ, and he won on the Web.com tour in his first season, and he won on the US tour in just his second start as a US tour member. So yeah, I agree with Ian McLaughlin. I think he's bang on track to be an absolute superstar.
And any other stat sites, Steve, you'd like to chuck into the mix?
No. I'm not a huge stat man. I'm more of a field punter.
Okay, fair enough. I've got a question for you from Chris. Would you rather do dry January or bet-free February?
Oh, blimey. Yeah, I'd probably rather do bet-free February, actually, because I'm going on holiday for 10 days during that, so I could just about handle it, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Great question. They throw some questions at us, don't they?
Good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is, yeah. This is one for both of you. Charlie says, any anti-post bets for the majors? I know we touched on this last week, but I'm going to ask you each, one player and one major. Who's it going to be, Ian?
It's got to be Xander Schauffele at the US Open at Pebble Beach. I think he's primed to really go close in that one.
And Steve?
John Rahm for the Masters.
Oh, right, okay. And Steve, finally for you, what is the most you've ever staked, the most you've ever won, and the most you've ever lost? A 3-in-1 question from Alex.
Alex, that's the most I've ever staked was on the Open last year. 14 bags on the Open. Biggest loss in a golfing week is 20 bags. I think that was British Masters week. Had a very, very poor British Masters week.
I'm going to say, the most you've staked is 14 and the most you've lost is 20.
Yeah, most I've staked on an individual tournament, I thought he was asking.
Oh, okay.
Is that not right?
Oh, I don't know.
And then there was only the Open that week that
I
bet on.
see.
So yeah, 20 bags in a golfing week, and then the biggest win was the 70 bags when Xander Schauffele won the HSBC Champions and Cameron Champ won the Sanderson Farm. So 70's the PB at the moment.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, chaps. We'll do some more questions soon. But next, we will look at the Abu Dhabi Championship.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet the next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Be the right club today.
Right then, so we've got the first European Tour event of 2019. It's the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship, presented by Eager. Very important. Latest show betting, please, Ian from Paddy Power.
Yes, 7 places this week in Abu Dhabi. Dustin Johnson heads are betting at 5-1. Tommy Fleetwood in at 10-1. Brooks Koepka 10-1. Louis Oosthuizen 18-1. Henrik Stenson 18-1. Thomas Peters 20-1. Tyrrell Hatton 22-1 and 28-1 bar.
And Steve, you're sticking with one of your tried and tested friends who you tip a lot for your main tip, aren't you?
I am, yes. Thorborn Thunderbear Ollison. I think he's got a fantastic chance. 40-1 was a disrespectful quote. Last seen playing quite nicely on his way to 4th place in the World Cup, partnered Soren Kjeldsen for Denmark. And last week he got back back into a groove. He loves Dubai. It's his favourite city in the world. He spends a lot of time in Dubai. So he's fully acclimatised in the region, got a week of practice under his belt in Dubai, got the Christmas rust out. So I think he'll hit the ground running in Abu Dhabi, which is not, you can't say that for everyone in this field. His record in Middle East events in European Tour is fantastic. He was second in the 2013 Abu Dhabi Championship, lost by only a shot. He was third in the 2013 Dubai Desert Classic, third in the 2014 Qatar Masters, second in the Qatar Masters in 2016, eighth at Abu Dhabi in 2012. He's got an awesomely consistent record in these sort of events. He's a 5-time European Tour champion. He's only 29 years of age. When he gets a sniff of victory, he's got plenty of killer instinct.
I didn't realise he'd been doing so well for so long. I thought it was only a nipper.
Yeah, well, he's inconsistent. When he gets his chances, though, he's not scared to take them. And he putts very well, very large greens at Abu Dhabi that suit him. And obviously, he made his Ryder Cup debut in September. I think he's had an extra layer of self-confidence since then, because he thrashed Jordan Spieth in the singles, and obviously he was on a winning European Ryder Cup team. So, yeah, Thorburn Thunderborough Olesen is number one choice. OK, we'll get your other 4 tips in a minute. But first, Ian, how many have you got for us this week?
I've got 3. And
Give us your main one.
Yeah, sure. It's Martin Keimer. Keimer's obviously now coming to his favourite course in the European Tour. Myself and Steve were touting him on the podcast around October for a couple of tournaments. He was in around a similar sort of price at those courses, and he's coming to this course that suits him so much better in Abu Dhabi. I'm happy to take on the front 3 in the market of Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and 2-time defending champion Tommy Fleetwood. I think there's a lot of value further down the market. I think it starts with Keimer. His form figures at Abu Dhabi since 2008 read 1-2, 1-1, miscut 6th, 31st, 3rd, 16th, 4th, 27th. Excellent record, obviously. 5th at the Turkish Airlines Open in November. His 3rd last start of the year was very encouraging. Also, the 21st at the Nedbank Golf Challenge can probably be upgraded slightly after a first round 76, left him behind the 8 ball somewhat. His tee to green figures at the end of the season were very impressive. If he continues into this new season at his second home with a decent week in the greens, I think he'll go very close. I think he's a knock-on bet of 40-1 this week.
Ian, very, very quickly, in a sentence on each, why don't you like the front 3? Dustin Johnson.
Too short.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Probably too short as well.
And Brooks Koepka.
Trying new irons out this week.
OK. Ian, Steve, what's your view on the front 3? Do you share Ian's antipathy towards them?
Yeah, I thought Johnson was by far the best of the 3, but nothing to get excited about in the front 3. I prefer deeper down the list.
Go on then, away you go with your other 4, Steve.
Thomas Pieters is my next best. Won the World Cup for Belgium alongside Thomas Detcher in November. That was the culmination of a great run of form, including 6th place in the USPGA. I think Pieters is getting back to his brilliant best. Abu Dhabi, a fantastic fit. He's contended there 3 times previously. 4th in 2015, 2nd in 2016, 5th last year. So if he's got some decent practice in since Christmas, I know he likes to go snowboarding over New Year, so I'm a bit concerned about that. But if he's applied himself, which I expect he will have done, I think Pieters will be in the thick of things on Saturday, in the final round on Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
and then I got
we should emphasise that, by the way. This tournament starts early on Wednesday, so if you want to have a bet, you do it before you go to bed tonight, OK?
Absolutely. And then we've got 3 more big prices. Tom Lewis, superstar amateur, led the Open after round 1 as an amateur in 2011. Then he won the Portugal Masters on his 3rd pro start. It whirled at his feet. Looked like Lewis was going to be an instant superstar, but his career drifted a little bit. Last season, second half of last season, clicked right back into top gear. He won an Open qualifier in July, started making hay on the Challenge Tour. He won a Challenge Tour event by 5 shots. Then he won in Portugal again on the European Tour. 5th in the British Masters, 7th in the DP World Tour Championship. So I think Lewis is right back in business. Shot up from 436th in the world rankings in June to 72nd now, which just shows that incredible streak of form. And he played well at Abu Dhabi as a youngster. He was 2nd in the 2009 Abu Dhabi Junior Championship. And then 2 more at enormous prices. Oliver Fisher, he won that Abu Dhabi Junior Championship in 2005. As a pro, he's finished 11th in the Abu Dhabi Championship 2008, 12th in 2015. And he got the Tour's first 59, European Tour's first 59 in September. He's obviously had a bit of swagger since then. He's known as Mr. 59. It's about time Fisher fulfilled what was massive potential. He was up there with Rory McIlroy as a great prospect. He's good friends with Rory McIlroy, and they were supposed to both be, major winners by now. Fisher's only 30 years of age, plenty of time to make his talent count. And the last one, almost down the bottom of the betting when we first looked at him, is Romain Wattel. And on bare form figures, it's fair enough. I mean, he had a torrid end to 2018, seemed to be on autopilot, missing cuts, but he's had 3 months off, so I think it's too early to give up on him. I think those 3 months off might have sorted him out, get his mind in order, get his game in order, And I thought he was worth chancing at 350 to 1 because Abu Dhabi is a straightforward track, calm conditions forecast for the first couple of days. So I think he can get his confidence back on an easy track in windless conditions, and we'll see what happens from there.
Splendid. And Ian, who are your other two apart from Martin Keimer?
Yeah, two more. Second one is Ross Fisher. Fisher had this tournament in his grasp heading into the back nine on Sunday last year. He faltered somewhat, and I let Tommy Fleetwood in with a birdie blitz. That second place finish goes with a 9th, a 35th, and a 19th place finish in the last 4 years here. Was having a patchy end to the season last year, but showed the game is still there with a 4th place finish at the Nedbank. Much like Keimer's tee to green figures were good at the end of the season, and again like Keimer, good week on the greens, we'll see him contend at 50 to 1. And the outsider, I'm having a small speculative punt this week on Jung Hung Wan. Has not shown much form in the past 3 or 4 months, but seems to up his game in the desert. His record at desert events over the past 4 years are 2, 17th, 11th, miscut, win, 28th, 15th and 6th. Those 11th and 15th place finishes were here the past 2 years. That win came in the 2017 Qatar Masters, another course located on the desert. If he can rekindle that form this week, which looks becoming a pattern, poor season form, excels in the desert, 151 could look big come Saturday morning.
That's the guy we've got in our box as J.H. Wang, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your Fishers? Because Steve tips Oliver and Ian tips Ross. Anything else you would like to mention vis-a-vis the Abu Dhabi tournament, Steve?
No, we need 2 tournaments this week. Need all our dough for the outright markets.
Okay, anything from you? You like a top 20 normally, Ian, don't you?
I do. I'm going to leave it this week, though. I'm exactly the same top rest as Steve. 2 tournaments, need to keep the cash.
Okay, let's look at the Desert Challenge next.
Follow Paddy Power on Snapchat. The username is the Paddy Power, and we promise there won't be any boring snaps about gigs, the weather, or the gym.
Oh, baby.
Welcome back. It's Bruce Millington, Steve Palmer and Paddy Power's Ian McLaughlin. We're looking ahead to the first US Tour event to take place on mainland American soil, the first 2 having taken place in Hawaii, obviously. We are in beautiful Palm Springs at La Quinta. I had the pleasure of staying there earlier this year. What a lovely place it is. Beautiful golf course as well, and a decent field has been assembled for this tournament. Now then, you lucky people, you're getting, if you listen to this early, the first look at Steve's tips. Because the American tournament is, because the European tournament takes place so early this week, we're releasing this on Tuesday. So you're getting Steve's tips even before they appear in the Racing Post newspaper. So before we get to who Steve and indeed Ian fancy for this, Ian, take it away with a nice deep show of betting.
Absolutely. 8 places this week in the Desert Classic. John Rahm heads are betting at 7 to 1. Justin Rose next in at 8 to 1. Patrick Cantlay 18 to 1. Charles Hell 25 to 1. Andrew Putnam 28 to 1. Aaron Wise 28 to 1. Adam Hadwin 28 to 1. Luke List 33 to 1. Ches Reavie 33 to 1. Phil Mixon 33 to 1 and 40 to 1 bar.
Steve, it sounds from those names like it's a tournament that's got a very strong front too, but the quality kind of falls away fairly sharply thereafter. So who are you looking at for your main tip? You're going to go for one of the big guns?
Well, I was glad you were mocking me for supporting Charles Howell III last week because I'm keeping faith with Charles Howell the carpet.
No.
Charles Howell the carpet.
No, rubbish tip. Rubbish tip.
He is playing beautifully at the moment. He was a bit sluggish out the boxes last week, but he still cruised to 8th place. He's not making any mistakes, and crucially, he's putting well. He finished 7th in the strokes gained putting stats in the Sony. I mean, when Charles Howell's putting well, you better watch out. His stroke is looking as solid as ever, and I think he'll tear these courses to pieces this week. I mean, he loves California IA. Charlie Howell in California IA is dangerous. He won the 2007 Nissan Open in California. He's got a fantastic record in the state. He plays well at this time of the year. You know, he nearly always comes out the blocks and starts the season well. Even in those barren spells, he was right in there in these events. His form figures on this particular track, on this set of 3, we've got 3 courses for this tournament, 11, 12, 20 over the last 3 years. So
you don't get paid out for any of them?
You don't, but he's a new man now. He's a new man since that RSM
He's not.
Classic
He's gone
victory.
back to being a bottle job, mate. Back to getting the bicycle clips on.
He's played 2 tournaments since. I mean, give him a chance.
Come on, Steve. You're too loyal.
No, he's absolutely purring with confidence at the moment. And he lost a player for this event in 2013. You look at the players that have beaten him in California. He lost a couple of Buick Invitationals in California to Tiger Woods. He lost He lost the Farmers Insurance Open that John Rahm. Do you remember when John Rahm won that one?
Yeah.
Howe was in second place, so he's been a bit unlucky with who's played well to beat him in these tournaments. And yeah, I think Charles Howe has got the right frame of mind now. And there's no one in this field playing better than him. But perhaps John Rahm probably. John Rahm's worthy favourite, but yeah, Charles Howe is the next one.
He'll finish 9th. How many have you got for this one, Ian?
I just have 2. I was racking my brain for hours on Monday evening. I think I was wearing a tinfoil hat come the end of it. I was racking it so hard. I was going mad. So I have 2. I'll run through them now if you want. The top tip and then an outsider. So the top tip is Sung Jae Im. He's already beginning to flourish in the PGA Tour with his ball striking already starting to look elite. I'm upgrading his 6th-place finish last week at the Sony. In the first round, 71, he lost 3 shots on the field in the greens. That looks an outlier as he gained 6 shots for the remainder of the tournament, and his putting figures so far this year have been generally very good. This week, obviously, is always a birdie fest. Im topped the money list on the birdie-heavy web.com last year. Every week, you need to attack the pins and go as low as you possibly can. This indicates to me that La Quinta, the 3 courses, will be right in his wheelhouse. His only start in California in the PGA Tour this season was 4th at the Safeway Open. That's always encouraging. A form in California can usually travel around the courses. I think, as we've mentioned before, I think he's a future star of the game. I think his rise begins this week at 50-1.
I-M.
Yes, Sung Jae Im.
Perfect.
And the outsider is Carlos Ortiz. Another graduate from the web.com last season, has acclimatised well to a new season on tour. 3rd place finish at the Sanderson Farms, just his 2nd start of the new season. A couple of missed cuts followed this, but his 29th place last week at the Sony was eye-catching for me. A final round 64 where he was negative strokes gained in the greens. That indicated to me that his long game is in very fine fettle. Like him, he knows how to go low from his internship on the web.com. I thought he was worth a small play at 200-1 this week.
Okay. Steve, who are your serious selections? You've put Charles Howell up. Who else have you got?
I'm going to enjoy next week's podcast when he tries by 6 shots. I got 4 against the field.
Go on then.
And my next best is Aaron Wise. Finished 27th of 33 in his first start of the year in the Tournament of Champions, which is obviously not ideal, but he's making his course debut there, had plenty of rust in his system, so I'm not worried about that. I don't think it will take Wise long to get back to the form in which he ended 2018. He was brilliant at the end of 2018. He was 6th in the Bridgestone Invitational, 5th in the opening event of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then he signed off for the year with form figures of 16, 15, 15, 10. So Wise is one of the most promising youngsters in the world. He's got the putting ability to go low in this Desert Classic. You must bring a hot putter to the table this week. And he's played it twice. For a youngster. He's good. He's got progressive tournament form figures, 34-17. And I think it's interesting that he skipped the Sony despite playing at Kapalua. So he clearly wanted to stay fresh and focused for this one. Fancies his chances, and I can see why.
Okay, and the other 3?
So Charles Howe and Aaron Wise are the 2 main ones, and then we've got 2 more. Brian Harman, going to forgive last week's miscut. It was a surprising miscut, but maybe he lacked the necessary preparation. I don't know. He enjoys himself away from the golf course.
What does he do?
He likes fishing. He's a huge fisherman. He likes being outdoors and getting in amongst it. So perhaps he was a bit late to the practice ground in the new year. I don't know, but I think that Sony flop will just focus the mind, give him a kick up the backside, and I think he would have been working hard since. The Desert Classic venues are just perfect for Harman. His form figures in the 3. There's only been 3 tournaments that have had this roster. 2016, 2017, 2018. He's 11, 3, 20 from those last 3 years. So Brian Harman should go well. And Bo Hostler's my final one. Bo Hostler, California-born youngster. He's already gone very close to getting off the mark on the US Tour. He lost the playoff to Ian Poulter for the Houston Open in April. I think you were on Hostler that week, weren't you, Bruce?
I can't remember.
Poulter beat him in a playoff in Houston. Then Hostler tied 2nd in the Travelers Championship a few weeks later. So he's had 2 runner-up finishes already. He's only 23. Great putter. So again, he can reach this super low total, which will be needed to win this week. And finished 20th on his debut there last year.
Okay, that's it.
That is it.
Is there anything else you want to mention on this tournament, guys? Steve?
Well, I will just tell the points, because I've had a couple of emails from readers who want to know the points, because obviously this is going in before the paper. So Charles Howe, 2.5 points each way. Aaron Wise, 2 points each way. Brian Harman, 1 point each way. And Bo Hostler, 1 point each way.
I think you're giving away too much info there. These things are free, mate. There's people paying $2.90 for this tomorrow for all those extra stats and goodies and stakes. But anyway, it's done now. Have you got any top 20s or match bets or tops in that you like?
No, I'm happy enough with the 2. It's usually a tournament I get heavily involved in, but this year I couldn't really find anything that really stuck out to me. And I'm not just going to put up stuff for the sake of it, obviously, as you know. So
They seem to have changed the closing holes. Do you remember they used to have those holes, those par threes? There was one that sort of had cliffs on the
That's
right,
right, yeah,
and had
yeah.
those goats with really curly, massive, great horns. Is that
Yeah.
right? You remember that?
I do remember, yeah.
And then there was that
the
other one
stadium
across a
course-
canal, wasn't there?
Yes.
The
It's very-
stadium course had just come in 2016.
That's
It was
right,
it
yeah.
was away for sort of 29 years before that, so
Yeah,
it's
one
come
where
back on.
Duffner had the famous chip from off the rocks as well on the way to win, and I think that was the first year it was back. Yeah, so
That's right.
I like this tournament. Steve, if you win loads of money again this year, do you fancy coming to this next year with me? Go to Palm Springs? Would you be allowed? Would Nicola let you?
I think she would, yeah. It's not like we've got 2 young children and loads of responsibilities.
Well, actually, that does remind me, before we go, one question I didn't get to read out. Someone said, which of the European Tour events would you most like to attend? Ian, which one's yours?
it has to be Crown-sur-Sierre in the mountains.
It's
at
got
the
to
end
be,
of
hasn't it?
Yeah,
It has
absolutely.
got to be. Have
Yeah.
you got an alternative to that, Steve?
Well, I think it's got to be the Saudi International, isn't it? Whatever it's called, the new one that's coming up.
Why?
I mean, just
That doesn't sound like your sort of place, Saudi
find a
Arabia,
nice
you know?
beer garden,
No.
find a nice beer garden, let your hair down.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, chaps. Great stuff. Well, we're back next week. What have we got next week? It says here somewhere on the running order.
Dubai Desert Classic and
Oh,
the Farmers Insurance, two
More
crackers.
deserts, more
Yeah,
deserts.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Farmers Insurance. Did I hear you say it was at beautiful Torrey Pines?
That's it, and the return of Tiger Woods, probably. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Weekend plans, Ian?
Oh, I'm 5:30 out of bed each morning. I'm trading this event in Abu Dhabi, so it's early starts from now till Saturday.
And you're sticking with the old dry January, aren't you?
I am, and it's another good excuse. I'll be up early all weekend, so yeah, no chance for me to get a beer in. So yeah,
you
happy
and
with
me
that.
both. Yeah, it's going well, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
Steve, are you dry Januarying?
No, I've got ongoing life planning at the moment. I mean, I've got to build a new office in my garden because obviously when Tiger's born, he's going to be coming into my office. That'll be his new bedroom. So
So you're getting an outdoor pod?
I'm getting an outdoor, shed really. There's no getting away from it. It is a shed, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not. Have you been to like these places? You can get these fantastic outdoor working areas now. They're not sheds at all, mate. They've got
What are they
glass.
called? They're called pods, are they?
Yeah, they've got heating.
I thought it was the Ryder Cup
electricity. No, honestly, Steve, listen to me. This is.
All right.
You
No.
need to do some web research on this because this could
All
change
right.
your life. I actually think a little outside area just for you would do you a lot of good as well. Just a place to sort of calm
Yeah.
yourself, save you having to go to that pylon when it all goes wrong.
No, so that's my weekend job. Yeah, I'll look into the pods.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, chaps. We are back next week. As I say, we're back on our regular Wednesday slot. Between now and then, I will be back on Thursday with Mark Langdon, Dan Childs, looking ahead to the weekend football. And Dave Orton is your host on Friday for a Racing Post weekend racing postcast. Hope you can join us.
Success ain't earned, it's bought. That's why at Paddy Power, we paid the big bucks for the best tech nerds in the world to develop our new fastest ever app. Download the new app from the App Store or Play Store now. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Give them the horn!